got up. I mean, that's typical Bear football when a guy jumps up after getting hit like this by Jerry Gray. Now, that ball's just in the air a little bit too long, and that allows Jerry Gray to make the play. But I thought the interesting thing, both players, Thornton and Gray, just bounced right back up.
Second down, 10 yards to go from the 26-yard line. Last time we saw Gray, we saw him get hurt in that preseason game in Washington. Good to have him back. Second and 10. Morris splits to the right, Gentry to the left. Same running backs behind Harbaugh. Anderson in motion. He'll throw again. Green. He avoids it. He looks. He gets it away. Threw it out of bounds. It's headed for Thornton, but really, he threw that baby away.
Well, Kevin Green, who he has been supposed to be one of their star performers this year, but he only has 2 sacks coming into the game. Now, he said he's playing the left side only. I think he got tricked there, quite honestly, which should have been a penalty on the Bear offensive lineman. But Kevin Green said, hey, I don't feel comfortable flopping around from left to right. Let me line up on the left side and play. And John Robinson wants his defensive players comfortable tonight so they can play that physical black and blue type of game they expect against the Bears.
Third wide receiver, Wendell Davis, checks into the game, comes wide right. Possession play again for the Bears from the 26, 3rd and 10. Green, an inside rush. Harbaugh goes outside. He throws a flag. It'll be interference. The pass was intended for Wendell Davis. It'll be a first down for the Bears. Our referee, Howard Rowe. And that's what it is.
You know, there's the wide receivers were open. As you see, both of them up here lined up to the right. They were open early, but it was some early heat on Harbaugh. But they're going to start coming back to the ball. They're going to wave their arms, and they need some plays out of these guys, Wendell Davis and Ron Morris. Yeah, and clearly that was interference as Michael Stewart, number 23, just ran right through him.
A 17-yard pickup on the penalty, and first down for the Bears at the 43, and they're doing it going to the air. Morris wide right. Muster and Neil Anderson, the running back. Morris in motion. Neil Anderson gets a carry and gets yardage across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Newsom was there on the stop.
Now, I really believe that you can make a compelling argument that Neil Anderson, as he's trying to get the dirt off his helmet there, but the best running back in the NFL tonight. You can have fans of Christian Okoye and Roger Craig and Barry Sanders, but when you're looking for a guy who can get you 2 yards when you need 1, but also on the next play can go 50, who can catch the ball inside the 20, I think you can make an argument that he's the best in the NFL right now.
Second down, 6 yards to go for the Bears, who've had the ball since the game began. We have 11:43 remaining in the quarter. Ron Morris wide right. Play action. Harbaugh has pressure. He throws long and throws it away again. If anybody, it was intended for Thornton. Doug Reed, out of San Diego State, an 8-year man, applied the pressure for the Rams.
Well, it's interesting to watch the Bears throw the ball so much because they have lived this year by ball control, getting themselves down in 3rd and 1s and 3rd. The one game they lost, they didn't control the ball more than 30 minutes. And tonight's game has unfolded a little bit differently. They've come out and thrown the ball more than they led anybody to believe, and consequently, they've led themselves. They've gotten themselves in a number of 3rd and long situations.
Like this 3rd and 6, but they've been able to convert every time so far.
Again, the 5 linebackers in for the Rams.
Anderson in motion to the right. Draw play. Muster across midfield. First down. 45-yard line. Mike Wilcher made the stop, but not until the first down was achieved.
You know, give Mike Ditka and Gentry, the offensive coordinator, some credit because, see, all these guys said those are all linebackers. Speed guys, and what do? You run the ball right at speed guys as they run upfield. So it's the point counterpoint. The Rams trying to rush the quarterback with 5 linebackers on passing downs. The Bears come right back and run the football. James
Thornton is down on the field and receiving attention. He is conscious, should be all right. We'll be back to Soldier Field right after this. Martin, Skip Carey back with you at Soldier Field. John Robinson looks on. His team has not yet touched the football. It's first down for the Bears at the 45-yard line in Los Angeles territory.
He is an emotional guy who can motivate people. You get the feeling he can almost talk, wallpaper off a wall. He's that kind of guy.
He said about their bad start, I thought it was a great line. He said, when you get in this situation, you have to be careful that guys don't start saying, I confess it's your fault. We got to hang in here together. Cat Bozo is in at tight end. Thornton left under his own power. Anderson in motion right. He'll throw again. Quick look for Anderson. He's got it, and he's got a chance. Vince Newsom saved the touchdown.
We talked about Neil Anderson doing it in the backfield, and he does it here as a wide receiver. And Jerry Gray, it looked like he couldn't make up his mind whether he thought he could get the interception or not. Number 25, the corner, thinks he's going to pick it off. And then at the last moment, I think he knows he's not going to get there and tries to slow down. And that allows Neil Anderson to go right by him. But, again, you can line up Neil Anderson in a lot of different places and get production out of him.
32-yard pickup. Long drive for the Bears. Gentry wide to the right, Morris to the left. Harbaugh has looked great. Anderson, not much. Stands among those to knock him down. You made a great point about Anderson. He's really earned his way into becoming a star player, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really is. He was drafted #1 out of Florida, and he came in highly touted, obviously, as the #1 draft pick, but he wasn't playing much. And he went to Mike Ditka and said, hey, let me play somehow. And they said, okay, we'll put you on special teams. And he thought he was going to be returning kicks. Well, he ended up covering kicks, made All-Pro. Then he moved to fullback and blocked for Walter Payton. Now he's a 1,000-yard rusher. So a lot of guys come in and don't earn it, but Neil Anderson has.
Gentry wide right, Morris to the left, 2nd and 9. Pressure incomplete. Kevin Green put on the pressure on Harbaugh, who wisely unloaded the football. Boy, some veteran players go against one another when these two teams meet.
Yeah. This is the rush. Look at the right bottom of the screen, number 91 and number 95. Peel both come through, but that's what they need. They need Peel and Kevin Green putting some hits on Jim Harbaugh like that. And that's what they didn't have last week against Cincinnati.
So again, a possession play, 3rd and 9. Harbaugh 2 out of 6, 42 yards. 3rd and 9 from the 12.
And this time the Ram defense keeps defensive linemen in rather than bring all the linebackers in.
Anderson splits wide left. Gentry is in the backfield. Harbaugh looks. He's got forever. Now he throws into the corner of the end zone. Anderson, touchdown.
But, Skip, I think you really have to like the play calling here by the Bears and the way Jimmy Harbaugh, as you said, is playing. Because when the Rams have come in with all linebackers on nickel situations, they've run it. That time with the defensive lineman, no rush. He had way too much time, and Neil Anderson ran all the way from the left side to the right to come open for the TD.
Kevin Butler for the point after. 88 yards, 12 plays. It took 5:56. Bears lead 7-0. We'll be back after this from your local sponsor. Deep men, but look at how the Bears get into formation for their kickoff. They fake an onside kick, and one of these times they're going to do it.
Yeah, they fake an onside kick virtually every time. And if you don't prepare defensively for it, they'll do it. And then you'll see guys, if they don't kick it, everybody scrambles to the position. I think it's another one of those subtle little coaching points that sooner or later helps you during the course of the season.
Berry and Delpino are up near the 20-yard line, as you see. And they'll wait and see how the Bears deploy.
There they go.
Now everybody backs up. And we're back to regular.
Yeah.
Kevin Butler out of the University of Georgia will kick it off. Lattenberry at the 5-yard line. knocked out of bounds across the 20. David Tate, as reserve safety, made the stop.
You know, Skip, I thought the interesting thing on that Bear drive, the two big plays came when Neil Anderson, ordinarily a halfback, lined up as wide receiver. First, when Jerry Gray went for the interception, and he went down the sideline. And then after Harbaugh gets sensational protection and found Neil Anderson in the right corner, but both times he was the wide receiver. 2 catches on the drive for 44 yards.
The Bears converted 2 3rd and 6s, 1 3rd and 9 on the drive. Now Jim Everett goes to work. Cleveland Gary, Buford McGee, his running back. Cleveland Gary gets to the 28-yard line. Ron Rivera makes the stop, the linebacker out of the University of California. There's a good look at Jim Everett.
It really remarkable, the 10 touchdowns. He has played, Joe Montana's played so well this year, you forget how well Jim Everett has also played. The 10 touchdowns, only the 3 interceptions. And the Rams over the last 3 years have gone from the running team that Eric Dickerson made them to one of the best passing teams in the league because of that man, Jim Everett.
Henry Ellard wide left, Flipper Anderson wide right, 2nd and 5. He got to the 30-yard line. He's short of the first down. Richard Dent among those in on the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 2 for the Rams.
You know, on offense, Cleveland Gary is an important player tonight. As a running back, as a runner in particular. Gained over 90 yards last week. They thought he was going to be the featured guy as a running back, but was injured with a back injury all of the preseason in the first couple games. So they think he's coming on as a runner, and that's what they need, some physicalness in their offense as well.
Time is called here by the officials for a moment. Now they're ready. 3rd and a long 2. Del Pino in motion left. Everett's first throw, intercepted. Wolford. Bears ball. 36-yard line. Donnell Wolford out of Clemson.
This Bear team, on their first 2 drives, offensively and in their first possession on defense, or their first defensive series, they have been terrific. Up here at the top, Donnell Wolford is just going to read the eyes of the quarterback and step in and make the play. You see, he's rotated up in the short zone to try to bump the receiver, and then he just reads the eyes of Jimmy Everett. Yeah, that's a nice defensive play. They said they had to jam the receivers to prevent big plays, and they come around with a big defensive play.
Bears take over at the 36 with a chance to get well out in front. Anderson, not much. He got to the 33-yard line, was tripped up there by Frank Stam. Stam's out of Notre Dame. Pick up with 3, 2nd and 7.
You know, Frank Stamps was saying last night about playing against Neil Anderson. He said, if you're going to stop Neil Anderson, you better stop him in the backfield, because you have to make his cuts and his moves 3 yards deep, because once he gets to the line of scrimmage, it's too late.
Rams need to suck it up here, don't they? They're down 7-0 early, and the Bears have the ball deep in their territory. Morris splits wide left. The give is to Muster. Nothing there. Stams was there again.
Well, that was a nice play by Frank Stams inside.
Kevin Green helped him on it. Look at Stams.
Yeah, you look at his eyes. And what he was saying last night, read the guards. The guards take you to the football with the Chicago Bears. See, Bort's number 62. He's one of the guards. Frank Stams' eyes reads the movement of the offensive guards. He follows those players and makes the play. And they need more plays like that, physical plays, out of their defense.
Brett Farinese, George Bethune check in to that Ram alignment. It's 3rd and long. 3rd and 6. Bozo in motion. Harbaugh to throw. Got his man at the 24, close to a first down. And I think he's got it. Ron Morris. 8-yard pickup. That's enough for a first down. Another 3rd and 6 conversion, their 4th third down conversion of the game.
Yeah, and that ball was thrown awfully well because he was well covered. I mean, the defensive back, Alfred Jackson, did a pretty good job, but the ball was perfectly thrown by Harbaugh. That's frustrating for a defense. You cover a guy, and they still make a completion.
Rams fell down 21-0 last week against the Bengals, battled back to tie it, then lost in overtime. Wendell Davis, wide right. Harbaugh down the middle, complete. It's Capozzo's tight end.
Usually, there's no Bozos allowed over the middle. But that time, Capozzo he's on the right side of the screen, the tight end. See the little gap he has between the tackle? That gives him a little room in the middle where he can run this kind of route. He gave himself a little cushion to be able to release inside, take the catch.
Normally, there are no Bozos allowed in the booth either, but with you, we'll make an exception.
I knew it was coming.
1st and 10 for the Bears. The ball is on the 12. Morris, wide right. Harbaugh has time. Now he's going to run. 10, 5, touchdown.
Look at that. He's got broken ribs and dirt on him, and he's taking hits and scrambling, and he's having a heck of a first quarter.
Deja vu for John Robinson.
And watch the hit he takes here. I mean, that's a heck of a hit no matter what. But when you have broken ribs, as he does, that's unbelievable. He's a tough player.
Mike Wilcher is the guy that popped him, but he got into the end zone to his credit. Tomczak will hold. Butler will try to make it 14-0.
And they have done everything right tonight.
They're reviewing the play, and I really don't know why.
Well, he certainly crossed the plane to the goal line.
Royal Cathcart is our replay official tonight. Let's see if his knee hit before he got to the line. Here we go. They play the theme from Jeopardy here.
Which is perfect.
No, he's in.
Yeah, his knee is down. The ball is clearly over.
If it stands, 36 yards, 5 plays, took 3 minutes, 9 seconds. The Bears have, again, just totally dominated play here.
And again, remember, the presumption that it's the referee's call is correct, and it has to be indisputable evidence to overrule it.
I'm surprised it's taken this long unless we missed something. Here's another angle.
I certainly don't think it's clear enough to overrule.
And they didn't. And the touchdown stands, and now Butler will try the extra point. Mike Tomczak will hold. .4:21 left in the first quarter. The Bears have taken a 14-0 lead. There's another look at Harbaugh going in. We'll be back to Soldier Field. Of the game again, Robert Del Pino, Lattenberry are the deep men, and the Bears kickoff man Kevin Butler. Del Pino out of Missouri, Berry out of Oregon. All Bears to this point. That one's going to rattle around, but it gets a good hop to Lattenberry, and he bulls out to the 28-yard line. Mark Carrier made the stop. Look at that. That tells the whole story, right?
And exactly, the game is going just as the Bears wanted. They want to control the clock, and you see the plays, a complete domination by the Bears. They lead in first downs 8-0 to the Rams. So just what John Robinson didn't want to have happen. In a game like this, he thought this would be a close one, a physical one that his team could maybe win in the fourth quarter. Now they're much the same situation as they were a week ago.
From the 29-yard line, Jim Everett goes to work. Down by 14. Little swing pass. Cleveland Gary crosses the 30 to the 35-yard line. He picked up 6. Jim Morrissey, the linebacker, made the stop at 2nd and 4.
That's pretty good coverage, I think, again, because Jimmy Everett really has to go to, I think, 3 different receivers. He looks right, then he looks left, and then he comes to his third guy and that's Cleveland Gary out of the backfield. So what does that tell you? That means the defensive backfield for the Bears are doing a great job. They have an interception, and they're taking the wide receivers away.
Pete Holohan checks into the game. Cleveland Gary is the only setback. Tight end in motion. Pitch, Gary. He's not to the sticks. It's going to be 3rd and short. Wolford in on the stop. He was helped by Steve McMichael.
You know, the thing about Cleveland Gary, what the Rams coaching staff likes about him, is that it's kind of those, he turns 2-yard gains into 3 or 4-yard gains, and the 5 into 7 yards. He gets a lot of yards after he gets a hit. And if you're going to be a running back for John Robinson, that's how he measures you. Not by 1,000-yard seasons or 60-yard runs, but how many yards you get after getting hit.
2 tight ends, Pat Carter, Damone Johnson in the game. It's 3rd and 2. Carter in motion. Gary got enough for the first down at the 40-yard line. So there's the first Los Angeles first down of the night.
Well, that's a pretty good offensive line surge on 3rd and 2 against the Bears, who've been a pretty good short yardage defensive team.
These are 2 outstanding offensive lines, veterans who really know how to play the game.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, you look at a long line of great linemen for both these teams, but the Rams off to another bad year, bad start. 2 strike years, they had some rough starts, but they're not a desperate team yet.
Everett to throw. Swing pass, Gary, 45, 50, 48-yard line. Morrissey ran him out of bounds. Jim Morrissey, the 6-year man out of Michigan State, but that'll move the chains again.
Well, if anybody watched Cleveland Gary play at the University of Miami several years ago, you saw that kind of route. He's a freak as a receiver, they say. His hands are incredibly large, and what they're going to continue to do is use him out of the backfield, and he is supposed to be the complement to the wide receivers. The Bears have done a great job of taking the wide receivers away, so you throw the ball to Cleveland Gary.
Kurt Warner has checked into the game. 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line. The give up the middle. It's Warner inside the 40, down to the 38. Close to the first down. Mark Carrier, the rookie safety out of USC, the stop. But suddenly the Rams begin to roll. 1.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
What the Rams want to do tonight is, you see the 3 wide receivers, they want to run these seam routes right into here. And that's just what they've had the big success with all year long. But the Bears are jamming them and taking it away. And so what are they doing? They're going back and throwing the ball to their backs, and they're running the ball with a little bit more success than they have this year. So give the Bears the compliment for taking the seams away, and the Rams have made an adjustment and are running the ball and throwing it to their backs.
They'll measure to see whether or not he got the first down. And he did not. But he's very close. It'll be 2nd and less than a yard. 1 minute 22 remaining in the first quarter of play. Somebody down there needs their hat, but I don't know what that's got to do with us. Robert Delpino checks into the game for Los Angeles. Ellard is wide to the left. Anderson in the slot to the left side. 2nd and short. Holohan in motion. Everett's going to throw for it. And he airs it out down the sideline. And it's caught by Delpino. But they say it was out of bounds. Boy, great catch, but he was out of bounds on the play.
Boy, that was a terrific catch, but there were 3 Bears over in the area. You think a 2nd and short, 3rd and short. You think of Bart Starr doing this, throwing deep. The old Green Bay quarterback, but he did not fool anybody. As you see 3 black jerseys around Delpino. He took a shot there from Mark Carrier, the rookie free safety.
They lost a little yardage on the spot, and Gary is thrown back. The Fridge got him.
You know, the Fridge is having his best season ever in his 6th year. I mean, he is a different player, the Fridge is, than he was a year ago. He stayed in Chicago all off season, comes in every off day and works out, comes in early. to work out. Got his weight down, and you forget, there's Fridge right over the center. Threw off Doug Smith.
Well, John Robinson's had enough of this. He's going to go for it here.
Yeah, I think you have to. You're 1-3. You're down by 14 points. It's gut check time.
Ellard right, Anderson left. 3rd and a yard. 4th and a yard. Everett. Overthrew Holohan. Bears take over. Singletary applied the pressure. The Bears lead by 2 touchdowns, and they have the ball back near the middle of the field. In this game, Pat, might be after that 2nd down when they tried to throw long and get right back into the game. I really think the officials inadvertently cost him about 2 feet when he brought the ball back, and then Perry made the big play.
Yeah, he sure did. Again, I think it tells you and shows you how well William Perry is playing, particularly in short yardage situations. William Perry's played very well this year.
Anderson split wide right against Jerry Gray. Harbaugh zips it out. Dennis Gentry makes the Bobby Humphrey runs him out of bounds with 3 seconds left in the quarter, and it will now come to a close. The first quarter is over, and it's been all Bears to this point. They lead it 14-0. We'll be back to Soldier Field on TNT. Second quarter gets underway in Chicago tonight. It's Donald Sutherland, Telly Savalas, and Clint Eastwood planning a $16 million gold robbery in a German-occupied town during World War II. It's a war movie. It's a comedy. It's Kelly's Heroes, and it's on right after the stadium show tonight, right here on TNT.
I was watching Mike Ditka spit there. I've watched a lot of tapes this week. Who do you think spits more, he or Don Zimmer?
Zimmer, but it's close.
Close. It is close.
So, I hope Zimmer watches tonight. 2nd and 5. Bozo in motion. Anderson gets the ball. Gets the 46-yard line. Frank Stamms, yet another stop.
Yeah, but they haven't stopped the Bears yet on 3rd down. This is their 5th 3rd down situation for the Bears. The first 4, they converted all of those. One of them was a long one was a short one. That's Fritz Shurmur, the defensive coordinator of the Rams, saying, hey, we got to play better on 3rd down.
3rd and 2, yet another possession play. 14:25 left in the first half. Then Fred and Kevin and Craig will have the halftime show for you. Dennis Gentry wide to the left, Morris to the right on 3rd and 2, and now a timeout called by the Bears. There's a little confusion there. So Harbaugh comes to the sideline to talk it over with his troops with 14-13. I'm surprised that the Rams have come out and played this flatly. I thought they'd be men possessed tonight.
Well, you know, I think emotion, you know, guys at the Alamo were emotional, didn't do them much good either. You know, I think sometimes you can get too emotional, too high. But I think the other thing is what happened is that Jim Harbaugh has just played better than anybody anticipated. He was saying yesterday that the important thing for me is to get started quickly, because they do have Mike Ditka can pull a quarterback quickly here, but he said it's important that I get off to a fast start, and he's done that tonight.
Here's some stats from the first quarter, and it's going to bear out what's happened in the game.
Yeah, oftentimes stats can not tell the story, but that certainly does. It's been a game thus far of offensive linemen, good defense by the Bears, and some nice play by Jim Harbaugh.
Gentry wide to the left, Morris in the slot to that side, Musker and Anderson, the running backs behind Harbaugh. Anderson in motion. They'll throw for it. Gentry made a brilliant catch, first down again. Bobby Humphrey covered him well, but Dennis Gentry just made a heck of a play. The 9-year man out of Baylor. That's his 11th catch of the year. And
Fritz Shurmur, the defensive coordinator for the Rams, was saying this week is when Gentry lines up in the game, he'll be a back and sometimes a receiver. You better know where he is. and you better defend him because he can make plays like this. And Ditka was saying this week that, hey, that Dennis Gentry may be our most valuable offensive player.
Tonight, Harbaugh has been valuable, too. 7 of 11, 85 yards. The Bears can do no wrong, at least to this point. Gentry again wide left. Morris to the right. Same 2 setbacks. This time, Brad Muster in motion. Inside give. It's to Anderson. He reaches the 46. Kevin Green made the stop. But the Bears have the ball, and the clock continues to tick, and they lead by 2 touchdowns.
I think if the Rams are going to get back into this, they're going to have to come up with a real big defensive play. Some sort of turnover, a fumble, a negative play, stop Neil Anderson in the backfield.
Gentry again left, Morris right. Second down, 8 yards to go. Harbaugh's got pressure, gets it away. Capozzo pulls his way to the 32-yard line. Tell you what, Harbaugh paid the price. Kevin Green got him an awesome lick, but a 14-yard gain.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, here's a guy with a broken rib he knows he's going to get hit and just hanging in there. I think Jim Harbaugh is answering a lot of those questions we're talking about. And here's the catch by Capozzo, romping over the middle. And, you know, I think teams don't use tight ends enough because they're big targets. They're usually the closest receiver to the quarterback and right in his line of vision.
James Coley checks into the game now at tight end as Boso comes out. Coley, a second-year man out of Clemson. 1st and 10 again. Morris splits left. Little out pass to Muster. 30, 25, 22. Stands the tackle. But the Bears are moving the ball at will, Pat Hayden.
You know what they're doing, too, is they're really spreading it around. They're giving it to Muster, they give it to Anderson and Gentry. Here's Muster, who's going to come here and fake the ball and then run right out into the flat. And what you like, it's a little cross action in the boot. Kevin Green is unblocked. And then Muster makes the adjustment on the catch. But they're using fullbacks and halfbacks and tight ends and wide receivers. And that's why they've been so successful tonight.
Gentry wide left. Morris in the slot to that side. Morris now in motion. Muster pulls his way inside the 20. First down, Bears.
This offensive line for the Bears are doing a marvelous job tonight. This is the guys that have been around for a while. And you can see why. This is the same offensive line that started the Super Bowl in 1985. The same offensive line that opened up an awful lot of holes for Walter Payton. And they just keep on going on.
The ball is on the 18-yard line. Gentry wide left. Morris slot left. In motion he goes again. Neil Anderson, not much there. He gets perhaps a yard. Green on the stop.
The other thing about this offensive line is every time they come out of the huddle, you don't see this in pro football much, they're actually sprinting up to the line of scrimmage. It's Fred Strickland, one of the inside linebackers for the Rams.
Looks like his left shin or ankle is bothering him, the 3rd-year man out of Purdue. We'll take a break. Come back after this from your local sponsor. As Fred Strickland needs assistance as he makes his way to the locker room, Paul Butcher takes his place. Let's see if we can spot what happened to him.
Oh,
yeah, right there. Meanwhile, back live, the Bears are ready to go to work. Anderson in motion. Harbaugh's hit 7 in a row. He goes for 8. He's got a man. Morris, touchdown.
Well, you know, was raining heavily before the game, even though the field had a tarp on it, but the defensive back, Anthony Newman, just fell down, and Ron Morris was wide open. But this is as good an offensive game plan that you're going to see because everything's working. Everything they do, they're running inside, outside, and throwing the ball all over the field.
What would the odds have been of the Rams falling behind 21-0 2 weeks in a row? Yet that is what's happened. Harbaugh, 10 out of 14, 126 yards. We'll be back. Pino again will be the deep man, and Kevin Butler will kick it off for the Bears, who are breezing right along. They have just dominated this game. Now everybody gets into their normal alignment after the Bears do their little huddle prior to the kick.
Yeah.
And Butler boots it. Lattenberry lets it go into the end zone and downs it there, and the Rams will start at the 20 in desperate trouble. You see the drive, and Harbaugh has been red hot.
You know, they did everything well. They threw the balls to tight ends, to backs, but then the touchdown play was when Ron Morris faked inside, and Anthony Newman, who was ordinarily the free safety, but was guarding him on the play, just slipped on the wet turf. He's right there on the ground, and Ron Morris just ran the corner route, which is the easiest throw for any quarterback to make.
Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out the Rams need to get something going here. Everett to the air, to the sideline, has a man complete. Henry Ellard out of bounds, 33-yard line.
You know, that's a nice adjuster by Jim Everett, because earlier in the game we said what he wants to do is throw those seam routes to receivers on the move. But the Bears are taking that away. So what do? You turn around, you run the outside routes, and that's what he did to a wide-open Henry Ellard there.
A pickup of 13 yards and a Ram first down. Cleveland Gary, Buford McGee, the running backs now. Flipper, Anderson, wide right. Ellard to the left.
Surprising all the passing yards, really, thus far in the game for the Bears.
Swing pass, Buford McGee, nowhere to go, 33-yard line. Donnell Wolford, the second-year corner out of Clemson, made the stop.
You know, it's amazing. Dan Hampton, the defensive lineman, was saying, hey, we got some great defensive backs like Donnell Wolford, number 21. And that's made a difference in this year's team. They bump him at the line of scrimmage, and then there's a safety behind him. And that's why Willie Anderson, who leads the NFL in reception yardage, has not caught the ball tonight. Hampton was saying, we've got some great defensive backs who are playing really well.
Second down, 10 yards to go. This time Ellard to the right, Anderson left. Buford McGee flips it out. Gary gets buried. Wolford again made the stop. A little razzle-dazzle, but it went for very little for the Rams.
But it also tells you something. When you have to resort to razzle-dazzle with 8 minutes left in the second quarter, it means things aren't going well for you offensively. It's like a little option play from McGee to Gary. But I tell you, on every guy who's carried the ball, there have been 3 or 4 blue jerseys. And how about Wolford? He intercepts passes, makes tackles.
3rd and 9, Derek Faison, another wide receiver, is checked in. So has Aaron Cox. 4 of them, 4 wideouts for the Rams. 3rd and long, blitz, open man, flag, completion. It's Aaron Cox, enough for a first down. Trace Armstrong put on the pressure.
Well, you know, the key thing here is with 7:27 remaining in the first half and the Rams down by 21 points, is I think they have to be thinking, getting this ball in the end zone. No field goals here. You have 4 downs. Get something into the end zone. But then I think they have to come back again if they're going to get in the game and score before halftime. They need 2 touchdowns really to get back in this game because their defense is just not doing the job.
That was a huge play for them, that 3rd and 9 pickup of 13 yards. For Ellard, complete and out of bounds. Donnell Wolford gambled on the interception, didn't get it.
That was terrific pass action against the front line that can really get after you. Richard Dent at the top of the screen. John Roper, number 55, the bottom of the screen. They got guys coming inside, but you see the 2 guards, the centers, just holding their ground, getting their legs underneath them. and that leads to that kind of completion.
If Everett could have stayed in bounds, he might have been able to score.
He's gone.
But he could not. He comes wide right. Anderson to the left. Everett, play action. Armstrong with a rush. He gets it away. Cleveland Gary, 30-yard line. Jim Morrissey again on the stop.
Jim Morrissey, number 51, the outside linebacker for the Bears. He is one of those players, and there's lots of them on every team in the NFL who don't really get their due. He plays every down for them, although he's getting substituted some with some younger linebackers, but he's their nickel back. He plays over the tight end. He can play in coverage. And you need some stars on your team, but you also need a lot of guys like Jim Morrissey.
Everett now 7 of 10, 68 yards. He's hit 5 in a row. Ellard wide left. Anderson in the slot to that side. Cleveland Gary, Buford McGee at the running back. The pitch. Gary breaks the tackle. That's all. William Perry missed him. Mike Singletary did not. But give Perry some credit. He slowed him down.
Well, you know, that's why Singletary's been so good over the years, is because guys like Perry and Hampton and McMichael get in the backfield and slow a guy down like Fridge did here. He gets through, fights through a couple of bodies. It slows him down, and look who's there right in the hole, Mike Singletary. And Singletary just kind of runs behind those defensive linemen like Fridge and makes plays.
William comes out of the game, 3rd and 3.
He didn't like coming out. You see that?
Aaron Cox in motion. Everett to throw. Has time. Incomplete. Flipper Anderson, the intended receiver. It's 4th down. What do you do if you're the Rams?
I think that was actually Pete Holohan, the tight end. And this is something you don't see much, is him dropping the ball. He's right there in the slot, number 81. And he's going to break off the defensive back, number 23, Sean Gale. And Sean Gale was saying this week on nickel situations, I've got to stop Holohan. And he says he's so big, he blocks out the sun sometimes, you can't see the ball.
I stand corrected. It's a 4th down play.
Yeah, they've got to go for it here. And this is where Buford McGee has been such a receiver for him over the years.
Pressure! Incomplete. Bears ball. It was intended for the tight end, Damon Johnson. So the Bears have held. They lead 21-0. We'll be back after this from your sponsor. Kickoff, its special edition of the NFL with the Stadium Show. Join host Fred Hickman, who will update all of the ongoing action in the NFL. Then at 8 o'clock, it's the New England Patriots against the Miami Dolphins, live from Joe Robbie Stadium, Thursday night on TNT.
So there's a guy who's been an emotional leader for this Bear team for his 12 years, Dan Hampton.
Gentry in motion for the Bears. Harbaugh looks long for Bozo, and he's got it. What a catch, and he paid the price. Paul Butcher and Vince Newsom on the stop, and Bozo's not getting up. 23-yard pickup. Butcher, the new guy, and they went after him right away, didn't they?
You're absolutely right, and again, that is good play calling. You have a linebacker in, number 59, Butcher, who's not a great cover guy, but it started with the pass protection, which the Bears have done all right. This offensive line has opened holes for Neil Anderson, and they've given Jim Harbaugh beautiful protection. And then the game plan, everything has worked. You pick on a new linebacker, Butcher's in the game with your tight end, and you come up with plays like that.
Vince Newsom, the guy that put on the hit. One bad bit of news for the Bears. Both James Thornton and Cap Boso have left the game due to injury.
They're a big part of the Bear offense. Obviously, Mike Ditka's your head coach, a great tight end, Hall of Fame and all that. You know they're going to want to use the tight end as a blocker and as a receiver.
It looked like he just got his bell rung.
Either that or got shot right in the sternum. But there's Greg Landry in the hat and the white hair next to Mike Ditka. And everything they have called has worked.
4:43 left. We'll be back. Off the field under his own power, which is certainly good news. James Coley takes his place. Look at the numbers on Harbaugh.
Yeah, it's remarkable considering what he's been averaging coming into the year. Just 134 yards for the game and nearly 150 tonight.
Bears would like to get some more here. Anderson, can he get outside? Yes. The bounds inside the 40-yard line at the 39.
You know, Skip, I think you have to ask, too. The question is that, you know, the Rams came in as the last-ranked defensive team in the NFL. And John Robinson was hoping that it wasn't true. But I think you're seeing evidence tonight why they have problems. They're not getting pressure on the quarterback, and they're not stopping the run. I'm not sure what else you're supposed to do on defense. If you can't stop the pass, the run, you got problems.
And the one big pass interference penalty. And Wendell Davis wide to the right. Second and 2, as you see. Morris in motion. Mustard breaks it. 30 inside the 30-yard line. Michael Stewart out of Fresno State made the stop. A 10-yard pickup and a first down.
You know, I think what Bear fans love is to watch their featured back, Neil Anderson, actually come out and block Kevin Green as he comes in. Now watch Anderson. You've seen him catch the ball. You've seen Anderson run the football. And now he's not afraid to block. And again, we talk about if you run the football, your running back has to be the most physical guy on your team. I think Neil Anderson is that, and I think everybody feeds off of that physical play of Neil Anderson.
That's why Bear fans tell you this is the best back in the National Football League.
I think it's a legitimate argument.
Gentry in motion. Harbaugh. Incomplete. Gray was on the coverage. Dennis Gentry, the intended receiver.
That was a nice fly by Jerry Gray, and that's really one of the problems the Rams have had on defense. Jerry Gray was injured. We saw him in the preseason, didn't play for 3 or 4 weeks on injury reserve, and they really wanted him to be a free safety this year because he's their best defensive back, and they felt at free safety he could make more plays. You couldn't throw away from him, but they couldn't find anybody to replace him, quite honestly, so he's back at corner, and that's been part of the problem.
Harbaugh had hit 9 straight passes till that miss. Wendell Davis wide left. Anderson goes right against Gray. Harbaugh on the draw. Muster, not much. Gets to the 28-yard line. Mike Peel in on the stop. Peel out of Illinois.
You know, Mike Peel, number 95 for the Rams, really has been one of the few bright spots on the defense, certainly last week against Cincinnati. You see the big bandage on his left arm. He's really playing with one arm. 2 located elbows, had surgery, playing with one arm, but one of those guys, if the play lasts long enough, Mike Peel will be there.
Glenn Kozlowski checks into the game at wide receiver for the Bears. They're 5 out of 5 on third down plays, and they have one here. Out of the shotgun. Threw it incomplete. And a flag flies. Let's see what that is. It flies in the Rams secondary. Offensive pass interference is the call here against the Bears. And bad news for the Rams again. Fred Strickland, a fractured fibula.
Pass interference, number 82, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat third down.
So the Bears will repeat third down. It was Wendell Davis who pushed off.
They're really hurting that inside linebacker now, too, because the normal replacement, Larry Kelm, is on injury reserve and won't come off till next week. So basically they're playing inside with Paul Butcher, who's primarily a special teams player. Now, I think this is a very important play here for this Ram defense. Again, down 21-0. You can't let the Bears get in field goal range.
It's 3rd and 18. Harbaugh stays in there. Anderson. First down. Wiltshire on the stop. 21 yards. The Rams simply cannot stop them. And we have reached the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the half. The Bears have dominated the game. The big crowd here is loving it. We'll be back. Pat, they still can't stop.
Well, you're right. I mean, Harbaugh has enough time here really to read a Chinese menu at a restaurant here. He's looking downfield, nobody there, and then just dumps the ball off. Now, that shouldn't happen on 3rd and 18. Somebody's got to react to come up and make a play. Yeah, you take the deep threat away, but when you dump the ball off to a back, somebody should make a play there.
They mark it at the 16-yard line. 2 minutes left. Morris in motion. What a hit. What a hit.
And that's by Paul Butcher. Yeah, the guy who was just beaten by Cap Boso. And that's a big play for Paul Butcher because he tried to get back in the game after getting beat on the pass.
4-year man out of Wayne State laid the lumber to him.
Yeah, and again, it's going to take a lot of plays like this. The Rams have any chance. Yeah, they're down 21-0. They haven't played well offensively or defensively, but somebody has to rally. Somebody has to make a play, and that time it was Paul Butcher.
On Cap Boso again. Harbaugh will put it up one more time if he can. Swings it out. Muster couldn't hang on at the 12-yard line. Brent Faraday's was on the coverage, but the pass a little too tall, so it's 3rd down. They're 6 out of 6 on 3rd down conversion.
Now, I really think you're seeing the maturation of a young quarterback, Jim Harbaugh, and the learning process for quarterbacks oftentimes is not pretty. But Jim Harbaugh is really showing something tonight. Again, until you're asked to win the football game and bring your team from behind and things like that, the question marks are never answered, but I know Mike Ditka has to feel awfully good about Jim Harbaugh.
Anderson goes in motion. Muster up the middle. Stop. Touchdown. This is amazing.
Watch the block of the left guard, Mark Bortz, who comes in and traps the end, and then Muster just hugs that block, the block on Doug Reed. You know, it's amazing what they've done. Brad Muster doesn't look like he's going very fast, but the next thing you know, he's in the end zone.
70 yards on 9 plays. And the carnage continues here. It's 28-0, and this is really amazing to see a Rams team that competed for the NFL championship a year ago playing like this.
Well, they've had fundamental defensive problems all year, and that's no surprise that they're giving up points. I think what really has been the surprise is that the Ram offense has been shut down. Another angle of the touchdown, you're going to watch Bortz, number 62, lead the way for Muster. And the Bears don't use the fullback a lot, but when they do, he can be awfully effective.
What is that now? 7 out of 7 on 3rd down conversions? And they're averaging over 8 yards a play on 3rd down. Incredible.
Well, really, the nature of the game in the NFL on passing downs is putting pressure on the quarterback. And the Rams have not been able to do that all season long. Another long drive by the Bears. And again, using precious time on the clock.
Well, what in the world does John Robinson say to his troops at halftime? Don't forget the Nissan halftime report coming up. Fred Hickman, Ernie Johnson Jr., Ken Stabler, all the updates from Week 6 in the NFL, and a special look at the comeback of Marcus Dupree.
You know, I think John Robinson's going to talk about the responsibility of being a professional and not packing your bags early. Yeah, the odds are against them, but professional football players don't quit.
Lattenberry with the ball, 25, got a chance to get outside. He's hemmed in and dropped at the 40-yard line. Bestie Jackson controlled him, slowed him, and then made the stop. 30-yard return.
Well, if your offense is not doing it, your defense is not doing it, perhaps you can get a play out of your special teams, and that's what happens here with Lattenberry. This play was supposed to go to the right, and then he decides there aren't too many black and blue jerseys on the left side. So he heads out there. Now the Rams have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. They're obviously thinking getting the ball in the end zone for a touchdown.
59 seconds left in the first half. Jim Everett has time. Intended for Aaron Cox. Almost intercepted. Among those on the coverage was again Jim Morrissey. Is having a big night for the Bears.
Yeah, that's shocking, the total yards, because remember, the Rams come into the game ranked #1 on offense, but what the Bears have done is controlled the clock, controlled the game, and Jim Everett hasn't been in very much.
And they've scored every time they've touched the football. Everett has time, dumps it up, threw it very poorly, intended for Buford McGee. And I think that's a good ball. You were an NFL quarterback, so you know better than me. When you play this little, I'm not alibiing for Everett. He's not having a good half, but it's hard to get in the rhythm when you're never in the game. Huh?
Well, you're right, and that is exactly what their offense is predicated on. It's predicated on rhythm and timing, and when you have a bunch of big bodies like Perry and Hampton and Dent knocking you around, and the defensive backs knocking your receivers at the line of scrimmage, you can't get into a rhythm.
He's got time. Diving attempt, but he can't hang on. Henry Eller. The pass just a little bit behind him. He might have caught it, but he could not.
Well, this is the first time, really, the Rams are trying to throw that seam route that we were talking about they've been so successful with this year. The ball was actually thrown behind Ellard. Otherwise, if he catches that ball on a move, they have a big play.
Keith English will punt it. Johnny Bailey will try to return it. First punt of this game comes with 45 seconds left in the first half. Bailey will have a chance to run this one back. No, he won't. I lied. He is down at the 30-yard line. 31-yard punt and no return. Greg Clark was there to cover it.
You were talking about the Bear possession skip a little bit earlier. I mean, that's as good as you can do. And all of them have been earned. They've all been long drives.
But wouldn't you think a third down play, either the quarterback would throw it poorly or a receiver somewhere along the line would run a bad route, but it hasn't happened yet tonight.
There's Greg Landry, the offensive coordinator, although he told me yesterday that Mike Ditka is calling most of the plays, but we'll give those guys some credit because it's fun to watch a game plan work, and it's working tonight.
Let's see how the Bears play it here with only 37 seconds left. Well, why not? Little drop pass. Anderson gets out of bounds at the 33, a very short gain of 4 yards. Michael Stewart ran him out.
This is really uncharacteristic of the Bears. Up 28-0. 30 seconds remain in the half, and they throw the ball.
I'm surprised that they tried to field the punt, and I'm really surprised that you try to throw the ball. Well, Harbaugh comes to the sidelines here for a moment.
Fans and people, it's easy to criticize. Everybody said, hey, the Bears are too predictable, conservative. Well, they haven't been tonight. They've been aggressive. Harbaugh has been aggressive. The play selection has been magnificent. And the offensive line has just done one heck of a job.
Johnny Bailey is checked in the game at a running back position. And he gets the ball, and he gets the 35-yard line, and no more than that. Anthony Newman, the third-year safety out of Oregon, made the stop. And now the clock ticks away with only 15 seconds remaining in the first half, and the crowd is on their feet and applauding the Chicago Bears. There'll be no more football in this half. 28-0. Harbaugh lets the clock run down. A huge ovation for the Bears. Coming up, the Nissan halftime report. But first, this...
Going against Cincinnati, but they look even worse today, and I guess you can attribute that to Chicago's great defense.
Well, offensively, they have not been good, but I think the problem for the Rams is defense. They've had a real tough time all year. Tonight against the Bears, and I said the Bears are not a strong team offensively. They have not shown offense. They are getting absolutely murdered. Here's Jim Harbaugh, definitely the factor for the Bears in the first half. He completed 9 straight passes, this one to Anderson in the end zone. The guy has played just tremendously. He's been the difference. Now, the defense, well, I'll tell you what, the Chicago defense 22 yards passing for that high-powered Rams passing attack. Ram rushing 68 yards, not really all that bad against Chicago, but they've only had the ball 11:01. The Bears have dominated completely, and it really gives you an idea, Fred, what this team could do with an offense. They're so great defensively. Tonight they have showed some offense. If they keep this up, then I could be wrong.
Well, they're looking like the 49ers right now. On their third down conversions, they've been averaging 8 yards a pop. It's amazing. Anyway, the second half is coming up. The Rams will try to rally. We'll be back with the Stadium Show post-game edition. Second half play-by-play story coming up. Stay with us.
The Nissan Halftime Report has been brought to you by Nissan. Built for the human race.
There's the story at halftime. Are the Bears this good? Are the Rams this bad? Or is it something in between?
It's probably something in between. Obviously, the Bears, have played conservatively all year, but tonight they came out throwing the ball successfully. They knew they could throw a ball against a defense that was the worst in the NFL, but I think John Robinson really has to be concerned because not only is it just the defense tonight, but his offensive team has not played well.
Kevin Butler will kick it off as he has done so often, and Lattenberry and Robert Delpino will be deep to return it as they have done so often in this game. It's true that the Rams have the kind of offense, if they get it going, they can score in a hurry, but they have just been totally dominated to this point in the game. A short kick. It's Berry again. 30-yard line, no more than that. So the Rams will go to work, 1st and 10 at the 30, and this graphic tells the story better than we can.
Yeah, and the other thing is the Rams have only had 2 receptions by wide receivers. And we came in the top of the show saying Henry Ellard and Willie Anderson, that's what they do. They run those seam routes. The Bears all week said we have to take those away, and they've done that. The Rams have not been able to adjust.
So a beleaguered Jim Everett brings his team out. McGee and Gary are the running backs. And they go to the run, and it's Gary for 5, 6, 8 yards. Mike Singletary made the stop, but a good advance.
Well, what they may be trying to do here on this first drive of the second half is saying, hey, we can't run the ball against Mike Singletary and William Perry and Trace Armstrong in this defense. I mean, we can't throw it against them to put too much pressure on. Let's come out and try to establish something running. Let's go out and get 5 and 6 and 7 yards running the football if we can.
Anderson wide right, Ellard to the left. The pitch play to Gary. He is out of bounds and a flag flies. Morrissey is the man who ran him out. Let's see what the flag is all about.
And Trace Armstrong was running out there as well. Jeez. Holding call on the Rams. But
might have been Jackie Slater, but we'll wait and see. We'll get the word from the referee, Howard Rowe.
Holding, number 78, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
It was Slater.
It's hard to miss Jackie in his 15th year, and what a career he had. We were talking to Trace Armstrong this week about Jackie Slater. He said, hey, here's a guy who's a lock for the Hall of Fame, and I've got to play against him tonight. And when you play against Jackie Slater, he said, you better play hard every single down.
Better bring your lunch because it's an all-day job, right?
It is. It is. It really provides a lot of leadership, personality, and stability to this team, and they need it tonight.
Second down, 12 yards to go. Now further discussions ensue. Delpino is checked into the game. He's wide to the right. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Everett has a man, but he threw it poorly. It was intended for Ellard, but nowhere near. Jim is really struggling.
Yeah, he is struggling because, again, their thing is rhythm and timing, and generally they get rid of the ball so quickly he doesn't have much pressure on him. Tonight he's had pressure. His feet don't look settled when he's throwing the football. As you see, there's a dent, number 95, kind of bouncing around the middle. There's the fridge bowling through a couple of guys, and they're diving and scratching and clawing, and that's what good defense is all about.
Everett has missed 6 passes in a row. 3rd and 12. He goes deep and too deep. And intended for Flipper Anderson. And the Rams will have to give it up again, and the Bears will get the football back with a 28-point lead. Let's look at the attempt for the long strike.
Yeah, how about the game Donnell Wolford, number 21, has had for the Bears? We've seen him pick off a pass earlier in the game. We've seen him come up and run support, play some real physical corner, and there he covers Willie Anderson downfield. He's had a heck of a night, Donnell Wolford.
Johnny Bailey will return the Keith English punt. Bailey at the 28-yard line. He who hesitates is dropped at the 34, and that's where the Bears will go to work. Clark made the tackle, 42-yard punt, 5-yard return. So the Harbaugh saga continues.
You know, I think Jim Harbaugh has done all that's been asked of him this season. The situation is they haven't asked much of Jim Harbaugh until tonight. And they've asked him to do a lot more, and he's responded. So it'll be very interesting to watch Harbaugh, not only the rest of this game, but how he proceeds to the rest of this season, because this Bear team looks for real, particularly on defense.
Morris splits left. Gentry also on that side. Now Morris in motion right. And they run, and it's Anderson, and he's got a ton of yardage. 48-yard line before Vince Newsom knocks him down, the 8-year veteran out of Washington, and nothing has changed in the second half. 14-yard pickup, 36 yards on 8 carries for Anderson.
Watch the left side of the offensive line, the left tackle, left guard, as they pull and lead the way here for Neil Anderson. You get Borch, you get Colvert out in front of them. Cap Bozo, number 86, is making a block. You see 3 or 4 offensive linemen out there leading Neil Anderson. I mean, these offensive linemen are running out of the huddle. They're running up the line of scrimmage. They're dominating people. This is fun to watch.
The Bears would love to move the ball on the ground. There's that man again. Flag is dropped as Anderson got about 4. Once again, Vince Newsom, along with Mike Wiltshire, on the stop. If you joined us late, bad news for the Rams, too, and that Fred Strickland suffered a broken fibula in the first half. Offside. The penalty is against Los Angeles. Next week, by the way, the Bears are idle. The Rams go home to play the Falcons. That could be a 77-76 game, the way things have been going.
Boy, you're right. Another 100-yard game for Neil Anderson, and the amazing thing too, really, it came awfully quickly. It didn't seem like he had that many, because he caught a couple of big plays too. The touchdown and the long pass in that first drive.
First and 5 for the Bears. Morris in motion. Whoops. That jumped a little early that time.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're anxious and you're playing well. Tom Thayer's having a big game.
57, offense, 5-yard penalty, they take first down. So we're back to first and 10. Thayer's anxious to go out and do it again. And he's been pulling all night long and dominating people in front of him. I think if you're an offensive lineman, you love to play for the Bears, love to get drafted by the Bears, because you know when you come here, Mike Jacobs is going to run the football. And offensive linemen have to get into a rhythm just like quarterbacks do, and it's easier to get into a rhythm running the football.
Oscar and Anderson are the running back. It's first and 10 from midfield. Anderson again. Wiltshire the stop, but a 5-yard advance. It's second and 5, and the clock continues to tick. 12 minutes left, third quarter.
The physicalness of the position, I think, which makes Neil Anderson kind of unique. You can go the distance. You can play in open space in the wide, the receiver on the wide side. You can run from tackle to tackle. We've seen him block tonight. And you watch the film on Monday, the linemen and defense watch the film together, and you see Neil Anderson, only 210 pounds. You say, hey, we like to play with this guy.
There goes Anderson in motion again. Harbaugh and incomplete. Dennis Gentry had it in his hands. That's one of the few things the Bears have done wrong tonight. Gentry upset with himself. And it's third and a long 4.
An offensive line play, the Bears, but we talked about tonight. Watch Mark Bortz, number 62. I mean, there's a lot of bodies and big bodies getting flying around. He and Peel are going after one another, and arms and legs and feet.
So here we go again. Another third down play for the Bears, who are 7 out of 7 in that department tonight. Glenn Kozlowski, Wendell Davis check in the game. The team with Morris and Gentry. 4 wideouts tonight. Shotgun for Harbaugh.
A guy like Glenn Kozlowski on it. Starting from high school up through college, through pros, one of those guys who always seems to get open on third down. Glenn Kozlowski has done it for Jim Harbaugh all year long, and he does it again right here, but it's the foot speed of Harbaugh that gave him more time to throw the ball, but he was too wide open.
And just barely kept his feet in. They may review that. And they do. The play is being reviewed.
And this is one of these kind of games where, as a head coach, John Robinson has to keep his team, his defense from getting too shell-shocked. You know, getting those real large eyes. Yeah, he is a tough task, and again, the theme, I'm sure, is for him is responsibility. But Kozlowski is open by a good 10 yards. He was open early, too.
Are his feet down? Did the right foot get in? That's the question that has to be determined. You can see the official was right on top of it, had a good look. Play stand. .11 left in the third quarter. Ditka has slowed his expectoration rate.
You know, I was noticing that, too. I guess that happens when he gets up by 28 points.
Mustard. Not from there. He might have lost a yard. A good hit by Mike Peel, the third-year man out of Illinois.
Yeah. There's no quit of Mike Peel. As a matter of fact, last week against Cincinnati in the fourth quarter, he came on and played as well as he has all year. And yeah, it's been a losing cause, and they're down by 28 points, but you have to find anything to look forward to when you watch the films, and it's guys like Mike Peel not quitting, not giving up.
Harbaugh has thrown for a career-high 209 yards, and we have 10:25 left in the third quarter. Morris splits right. Not this time. They try that little inside thing to Anderson, and no go on this occasion.
Mike Peel again, who made the play.
Peel is tough.
Yeah, you see the big brace on his left arm there. He had elbow surgery, dislocated it twice, and he really can't even use his hand because of that.
Third down and 12 yards to go, and we reiterate, 8 out of 8 on third down for the Bears. They made a 3rd and 18 late in the first half. They've got a 3rd and 12 now. Neil Anderson. The throw running back. He's got a man well short of the first down. It's Gentry. So Kevin Butler will come on and try to kick the field goal. Newsom makes the stop.
And, a small victory for the Ram defense, holding them on third down.
That is a small victory.
I think this is a situation a guy like Kevin Butler has to be careful of, because the Rams have to be thinking about blocks. When you're up by 28 points, you don't want to get yourself hurt in a situation like that.
Butler will try a 28-yard kick. Contract will hold. No block. It's good, and it's 31-0. The Bears have scored every time they touch the football. We'll be back after this from your local sponsor. The Bears haven't played any better than this in a long, long time. They have been superb offensively and defensively. Lattenberry's tired of running these things back, so Gaston Green is back there with Robert Delfino.
Yeah. Lattenberry will get a letter for all the returns.
That's right. We have 8:45 left, third quarter. The Bears have been brilliant. Butler kicks it away. Delfino picks it up at the 8, gets to the 10, and just to the 20-yard line. Coley on the stop.
Well, you know, you can argue that it's bad offense where this has happened with the Rams. I contend that the Bear defense has just been awfully good tonight. Basically, they have taken the wide receivers out of the game for the Rams, and that's the key to their offense.
Even last week when they got down 21-0, you had the feeling watching the tapes of the game that they were watching the game and then reviewing the tape that they could come back, and they did. But tonight they have
There's no sense of it tonight now.
The Bears have taken it all away from them. Anderson in motion. Everett to throw. Has time. Batted down. Almost caught again by Everett.
He's batted down by Dan Hampton. Much has been made, if he is smiling, much has been made of Dan Hampton's 10-knee operations, but I think this Bears team is better when he's on the field. There's just something about the guy. Yeah, maybe he's not the great player he was a few years ago, but I think people play better around him when he's on the field.
Everett has now missed 8 in a row. He's 7 out of 18 for 68 yards. You know, people talk about whether Hampton should retire or not. He's an adult. It's up to him, isn't it?
He says, hey, I'm gonna retire on my own terms, and it'll be after this season, he did say.
Nothing there. Cleveland Gary. Ron Rivera made the stop, and the Bears are having a walk in the park. Steve McMichael checks into the game, along with a host of others, Ron Cox.
Well, you know, offense is really about finding open space and getting people who can make plays into open space, but there has been very little open area in the Bear defense tonight.
8 minutes left. Third down and long. Here they come. A blitz is picked up. Everett gets the pass away, complete, and a first down is the result of the 37 to Aaron Cox. Sean Gale made the stop, and a good job by the Rams of reading the blitz.
Yeah. And it's really the first time that they've been able to get the ball to a receiver on the move. Singletary coming inside unblocked until late when Buford McGee, number 24, stepped in. And again, the receiver on the move, that is the key to the Rams. You don't see many receivers stopped on hook routes when they're running their routes. They're always moving away from a defender.
Here's Aaron Cox, a fine wide receiver. Everett will put it up, has a lot of time. Sidearms it out to Gary at the 45-yard line. McMichael in there on the stop. Ron Rivera there as well.
You look at Cleveland Gary, and he's a big running back. He weighs 226 pounds. He's 6 feet, but he's got some finesse to him. He can run and make people miss. A lot of guys, run to darkness. They'll run right into defenders, but he seems to make people miss out in the perimeter of the defense.
Second down, a yard to go for the Rams. Anderson wide right, Eller to the left. They go with a run. Gary straight ahead, breaks the tackle, gets the first down, gets to the 49-yard line. Trace Armstrong was there, so was the rookie out of USC, Mark Carrier, the safety man.
So you just mentioned two players, Trace Armstrong, number 93, and Mark Carrier, number 20, that have been largely responsible for their 4-1 start. Trace Armstrong there in his second year was the number 1 draft pick, and he said just the other day, I finally feel comfortable. I'm understanding the subtle things, the stunts, what William Perry's going to do next to me. And last year I didn't feel comfortable.
First and 10 for the Rams. Everett has time, runs out of time, beats McMichael, throws long, got it away, but they call it in the grasp.
Well, I don't know about being in the grasp on that one.
That's apparently the call.
You know, I think they call it differently for different quarterbacks because Everett is really not terribly nimble. As soon as anyone gets in the same zip code, now that's not grasp and control.
But that's the call. Boy, that's rough. Steve McMichael will get credit for the sack.
Yeah, that's, you know, the two things to the end of grasp. The grasp and control, and I don't think he had either.
No, he certainly had no control. A loss of 13. That's just what they needed. Second, about 23. Everett will put it up. He rolls right and it airs it out. Long down the field. Anderson trips up at the 10-yard line. A saving tackle by the Bears and by Donnell Wolford again. 54-yard strike. They finally got Anderson involved.
Well, you know, this is what they've been trying to set up all night long. And it was a terrific block by Holohan on Trace Armstrong that allowed Everett to get outside. And then what Everett says about throwing the ball to Anderson, you just throw it as absolutely as far as you can, and no matter how far it's out there, he's going to go get it.
Just outside the 10-yard line. 4:50 left.
That was pretty. That was pretty.
Aaron Cox splits wide right. Rather wide left. Butler to the right.
So that's the right.
One each way. Everett throws. Has a man. McGee. Touchdown.
Yeah.
Buford McGee from 10 yards out, and the Rams strike quickly and get on the board with 4:33 left in the third quarter.
You know, I call Buford McGee one of those guys you appreciate a day late. It's not until Mondays when you watch the film that you really fully appreciate Buford McGee. Because he catches the ball on plays like that. He runs over guys. He's an excellent pass blocker, plays special teams.
Now the officials call timeout here. Now they're going to review this play as well. Did he get in is the question. Let's look. Here's another angle for you.
He is the halfback on the right, if you're looking, number 24.
After further review, the play will stand.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
In fact, it seems like they all stand. But we'll wait and see. 4:33 remaining in the third quarter of the game. It's 31-6.
But it was really the first really signs of life from the Ram offense at all. And it was because Jim Everett actually rolled out and got away from the rush a little bit and then heaved the ball downfield to Willie Anderson.
If this thing stands, Mike McDonald will be in there to snap the ball. He's quite a story for the Rams.
He really is. Number 90 right there in the middle of your screen in white. Here's a guy who graduated from Southern Cal in 1979. Didn't play for 4 years. In 83 in the playoffs, the Rams called him up to long snap. And then was out of football again for 4 more years. And then brought back in 1987. And he's one of the only guys, I think, in the NFL who has a full-time job during the season.
It's called on the field. Touchdown.
As predicted, the play stands. What's he do for a living?
Hey, he's an insurance salesman. He'd like to see you after the game, by the way.
I got plenty. Thank you. He'll snap it. Holohan will hold it. Lansford will kick it. Oh, man. He missed.
Yeah.
Lansford misses the extra point. His first miss of the year in 16 tries. We'll be back.
The NFL on TNT is being brought to you by Infiniti, who invites you to test drive the Q45 sedan or M30 Sports Coupe, and by Allstate. For home, auto, life, and business insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate.
Well, here we go. The deep men, Dennis Gentry and Johnny Bailey. Mike Lansford will kick it off. Cooling off here in Chicago, Doc Falkenberg bundling up down in the truck. He's our tape editor, and here we go. Long kick. That will be Bailey at the 2-yard line. 23-yard line before he is dropped. It was Pat Terrell who made the stop. So, the Bears will go to work with 4:24 left in the quarter. Back after this from your local sponsors. There's the score with 4:24 left. Playing special teams, not an easy way to make a buck.
You don't volunteer, but give Greg Clark some credit. His team is down by 25 points, so there's no quit them, even though he's getting drilled by Wolford, number 55 there. But he actually gets drilled by a couple of guys, but there's no quit in Greg Clark, one of the best special teams players.
Wendell Davis wide to the left. Ron Morris to the right. The pitch back. There's Anderson again. He picked up about 4 and continues his good work on the night and gets the clock rolling.
You know, there's a real suddenness about Neil Anderson. He'll glide, and all of a sudden when he senses that little space of daylight, boom, he turns it on. He slices through it.
11 carries, 46 yards.
Now, he was saying, you see the rib pads there this week, that, hey, I can play with broken ribs. That's no big deal. I've done that a lot. But he's also playing with some real tender cartilage in his ribs, and that is very painful.
One of the many fine running backs developed at the University of Florida. Second down for the Bears. Anderson again. Breaks the tackle, crosses the 30, is shy of the first down.
It looks like he got kicked right in the face there by Vince Newsom, didn't it?
It did at that.
Hey, the center, Jay Hilgenberg, does a nice job, and then right at the end of the play, I think Vince Newsom accidentally comes right down and the foot right in the face. Yeah, it's tough playing running back in this league.
Third down and a yard to go, and the clock is inside 3 minutes now.
Well, Newsom was saying yesterday, no secret when you play the Bears, you have to stop Neil Anderson. They haven't done it tonight.
Bozo with a lead block, and I don't know if he got there or not. Anderson. He did not get the first down. So the Rams show a little pluck here with 2:30 left. And Maury Buford out of Texas Tech will check in for the first time. Henry Ellard is the deep man for the Rams, and they could really stand him breaking one right here.
Or a block. I mean, again, you're down by 25. Maybe your special teams comes up with a play. You block a punt. Buford had 2 blocked this year.
Let's see if they come after it. No. And he gets there. Line drive kick out of Ellard at the 16. Stops at the 24, and he was 1 man away from breaking it. And there's Jim Morrison again.
Boy, he played well tonight, Jim Morrison.
52-yard punt, 9-yard return. The Rams will have the ball with 1:53 left in the third. Well, the Rams marched down the field and scored the last time they had the ball. They got to do that again in a huge hurry to have even a swing there. They start at the 24-yard line. Cleveland Gary breaks out of the pack, breaks the tackle, and gets to the 36-yard line. John Gale got it.
And this is how the drive started the last time. The very first play, Cleveland Gary ran for 7 yards. This time he goes for about 13.
And you know they're thinking pass by the Bears.
It's a nice burst. Obviously, time is the end of the enemy, down by 25 points. But again, Cleveland Gary shows a real nice burst. He's been physical, and he's also been able to run out in open territory pretty well.
Ellard wide right. He'll put it up this time. He's got a man complete. Ellard out of bounds at the 44-yard line. So now Wolford ran him out, and all of a sudden, the Rams look like the Rams. A 22-yard pickup at 1:12 left in the third.
Well, you know, I think the defensive line for the Bears have had a pass rush so much because the Jimmy Everett's been throwing the ball almost every down that after a while you get tired. And I think there's also a comfortableness that sets in when you're up by 25 points. You got to get the edge back on in defense.
There in the top comes wide right. Everett the throw. He looks long. He wants all of it. 2 calls. It was intended for Flipper Anderson, but good coverage by the Bears. Carrier was back there. So was Lemuel Simpson.
Now, Mark Carrier, number 20, the defensive safety for the Bears, was in position right there. And we were talking to Vince Tobin, the defensive coordinator. He said, Mark Carrier has made a big difference. He doesn't act like a rookie. He was confident, acted like he belonged from day one. And I think that's important because as a free safety, you have to be a leader. You have to make a lot of calls out there, and Carrier's been able to do it for him this year.
Holohan in motion. The kid, Gary, gets to the 36-yard line. Again, they have to make the stop in the secondary.
Hold that ball loose.
David Tate out of Colorado. A reserve defensive back in on the stop.
Come on, Dave.
We're down to 26 seconds, as you see, in the third quarter. It's 3rd and 1, but this is 2-down territory anyway. Pitt, Gary. I don't know if he got the first down or not. He gets a pretty good spot, but he's going to be short.
John Roper, the outside linebacker for the Bears, did a heck of a job pushing the pile back, and there is a flag down.
So we'll see what that's all about with 14 seconds left in the quarter.
Roper, number 55, on the right side of the screen on defense. He just kind of goes through a tight end and fights off a block and fights off 3 blocks to get some help from his teammates. But John Roper did a great job of forcing the play outside on a short yardage down.
5-yard penalty. First down.
A 5-yard penalty offside against the Bears, against Ron Cox, who lined up in the neutral zone. So that gives the Rams the first down they had failed to get.
That's a beleaguered-looking John Robinson.
Hey, nobody likes to get whacked.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, really, his defense has just been terrible, and that can do it to you.
Aaron Cox wide right, Flipper Anderson wide left. 1 second left in the quarter. They get the play away. And Everett goes for all of it. 2 calls. Carrier was back there. It was intended for Anderson. But if anybody was going to catch that ball, it was going to be Mark Carrier. And with that, the third quarter comes to a close. It's 31-6. We'll be back to Soldier Field right after this. We go to the final period here with the Bears on top, 31-6. The Rams trying to get something going. A capacity crowd once again.
Walter Payton, remarkable career he's had, but I tell you, it's amazing how fast they forget. You don't hear people talking much about Walter and the great career that he had, and things just keep on going as Neil Anderson's had a big career after Walter retired.
2nd and 10, Everett to throw. Knocked away. Incomplete. Intended for Anderson, but now Wolford made another play. Speaking of Walter Payton, Pat, he'll be on the postgame show with Fred and Kevin and Craig Singer, so stay tuned for that.
This is a real nice game within a game. Donnell Wolford and Willie Anderson have been going at one another all evening long. And I tell you, one time Anderson beat him, and then the next time Wolford comes back. And he made an interception early in the game, but that's terrific coverage that time by Wolford.
Robert Delpino checks in the game. It's 3rd and 10. Draw play. Delpino breaks it. First down, 19-yard line. I think it's the first down. Let's check the spot. It is.
The Ram coaches were saying this week that Robert Delpino's the kind of guy you say on Mondays, gosh, I wish we would have played him more yesterday. Because all he seems to do is make plays like that. Whether it's catching, he's a terrific receiver, and that's time on the draw play.
He started out of the game, but he'll stay in there. You see Ellard heading to the left. Anderson to the right. Wing right. Tight end goes in motion. Everett to throw. Off balance. Incomplete. It was intended for Damone Johnson, his tight end, but he overthrew it.
Well, most quarterbacks have to get their feet set to throw the football, and when Jim Everett has had trouble tonight, it's when there's been a couple of people around his legs. He's just not been able to get set and follow through. And that time, again, there were 2 bodies around his legs which didn't let him step into the throw.
Historically, he's had trouble against these Bears. Oh, yeah. 3 starts against Cleveland Gary. The lone sucker. Second down, 10 yards to go. Anderson right, Ellard left. Rolling is Everett. Screen. 50. Damone Johnson. Down inside the 10-yard line.
Well, I don't care if the score is 31-6. There is some hitting going on, and you can hear it. This is a well-conceived play by the Rams as Everett rolls to his right, takes a lot of defensive play, and then throws the screen back to the tight end, Damone Johnson. And really, Richard Dent is hustling over there, ran through a couple of blockers to slow him down, and then the tackle. So there's some bodies flying around out there, and it was Mark Carrier, who was a much larger man. They're hoping Mark Carrier can be a force for these Bear defense for a long, long time.
Well, he looks like he's got the substance. He just left. See if they got the first down. They did. It'll be first and goal for the Rams inside the 10-yard line with 14:03 left, but the Bears lead 31-6. They built a 28-0 halftime lead if you joined the play. Scored every time they touched the ball in the first half except in the last 45 seconds or so when they got it back. The big mob here wants to stop by the Bears. Holohan in motion. Everett looks. End zone. He overthrows his man. Ellard was the intended receiver, but he had to throw it away. Mark Carrier was there on pass defense.
Well, we have a free safety that can play one-on-one coverage like Mark Carrier's been able to do tonight. I mean, you have a lot of flexibility in your defense. Sean Gale moved to strong safety where he's played spectacularly this year because Carrier can cover man for man at free safety. A lot of guys could just play the deep center field, but Mark Carrier can cover wide receiver.
Anderson wide right. Ellard left. Holohan in motion. Everett into the end zone, overthrown. And a flag on the play, and it's probably holding when you look where the flag is. Illegal use of the hands against the Rams. Buford McGee, the intended receiver. There were Carrier and Gale. Boy, they're two good safeties.
Yeah, they really are. You know, you look at John Robinson and the exasperation on his face, and he's just thinking about
Illegal hands to face. Number 78, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
They tuck and whistle on Jackie Slater.
Yeah. But Robinson is thinking about what he thought was going to be his best Ram team. This summer I bumped into John, and he was telling me, hey, I'm really excited about this team. And then all the holdouts, all the injuries, and then quite frankly, they just haven't played well defensively this year.
Second down and goal from the 18-yard line. Delpino wide left. Incomplete. Ellard, the intended receiver. Donnell Wolford was there again. If anybody was going to catch that ball, it was going to be Wolford.
But you see, that's the timing. They'll throw the ball long before the receiver gets in his break. But again, because the rhythm has been disrupted, Wolford is jamming and running right next to Henry Ellard. The timing isn't quite right, and that's what happened.
Third and goal from the 18-yard line. Ellard wide right. Anderson wide left. Holohan in the wingback.
Looks like a blitz.
Timing pattern. Anderson broken up. Lemuel Simpson made the play. Flipper Anderson, the intended receiver.
Again, Anderson, they're trying to get him deep, but Lemuel Simpson does a great job of looking back. He knows exactly where the ball is. Oftentimes, when it's an underthrown deep ball, there's pass interference, but he does a terrific job of getting his head around. And Lemuel Simpson has 4 interceptions this year because when he's been in a position, he's able to make the play.
Lansford will try a 35-yard field goal unless this is a fake. Holohan will hold. He got it. So the score goes to 31-9 after missing an extra point. Lansford drills the 35-yard field goal, 13:23 left.
The NFL on TNT is being brought to you by Hyundai. Test drive the new Sporty Scoop from Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai.
There's an onside kick upcoming here. Gentry and Bailey are the deep men, and it is an onside kick. And there is a flag, and the ball is loose. It's still loose, and I think the Bears got it. There was a flag, and I think it was offside on the Rams. Let's wait and sort all this out with our referee, Howard Rose. The Bears have the football. Lars Tate, the former Tampa Bay performer, came away with the ball.
Bears recovered the onside kick. Number 89, kicking team offside. Penalty decline. First down.
Derek Faison, the wide receiver, offside as he charged up to try to get the ball.
It wasn't a bad attempt. Number 22, I think Vince Newsom, I thought he had a chance to get it there for a while.
Of course, the Bears decline the penalty and take the football at the 44-yard line. And they'd just like to grind out a few first downs and take this one to the bank.
So, although I think there's some danger, and just as you get ready for next week, or I know they have a week off for their next game, of being too conservative. I think they still want to be aggressive offensively.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. Harbaugh throws, has a man, Brad Muster, across midfield and down to the 39-yard line.
He comes up limping. Here's the guy, Brad Muster, who had back surgery a year ago, has constant pain up and down his leg.
And there's more surgery that he needs, but he can't have it till his career as a player is over.
He was the man in motion, and really, guys just should not be that wide open in the NFL. You understand it in high school and college and such, but really, he was open by a good 10 yards on a simple little flat route.
And he got 17 and another Bears first down with 12:50 left. Morris wide right. Harbaugh's going to throw again. Complete again. Paposo again. Out of bounds at the 23 and another first down for the Bears. Well, you call that. They have not sat on it at all.
That's what you have to do. And then, tonight with the Buccaneers winning today to go to 4-2, the Bears needed the win to stay ahead of the AFC Central.
I wonder if Jerry Rice is upset that Montana threw one to somebody else. Probably not.
That's going to be frustrating for the Rams, too. You watch Joe Montana and the 49ers do it again today as they're trying to catch him.
You hear about Okoye, but Word, the big game today.
That was a payback time. Remember, the Bengals beat the Oilers 61-7 last year. A lot of Oilers remembered that game.
First down for the Bears. The give to James Rouse, the rookie from Arkansas. Gets his first carry of the night. And is down to the 15-yard line.
That was a surprise to me. Marion Butts has had a terrific year for the Chargers, but the Jets are one of the most improved teams I thought in the AFC East. About Walsh finally gets in and plays, throws 3 touchdowns as they beat the Browns by 5. But he'll make a difference. This was a terrific game today. This was a terrific game. Special teams were the difference for the Giants.
Here come the Bears again with 11 and a half minutes left. Second man through. He's going to get there. Touchdown. He's 14 out of 63. A 15-yard route. Nobody touched him.
This offensive line, you can say what you will about Neil Anderson. He's having a great night, but that was a gaping hole in the defense. In the left side of the offensive line, Jim Colbert, Mark Bortz, who played so well tonight. just opened that hole. It was just an easy touchdown run for Neil Anderson.
Rouse made a great block, too, the rookie. So here's Kevin Butler again. And it's 38-9. The Bears are romping with 11-17 remaining in the game. We'll be back right after this from your local sponsor.
Last year, Dan Marino led the AFC in passing completion. But on Thursday night, the Patriots will want to raise his total of catches. Thursday Nitro is a TNT special. The Patriots versus the Dolphins. Thursday at 8 on TNT.
Delfino and Green are the deep men. Kevin Butler will kick it off. It is 38-9 with 11-17 left in our game. It bounces around and will be picked up by Delfino at the 10. And he gets close to the 20-yard line.
You know, everybody will be around Neil Anderson's locker tomorrow, but watch the block by the three men, the fullback and then Jimbo Covert and Mark Bortz on the left side of the line. I mean, Skip, you might have gained 6 or 7 yards on that hole. Anderson gets in, but that's terrific blocking.
Highly unlikely. Now, Pat, let's take a look at tonight's Hyundai leaderboard. You see Anderson wandering right up through the ranks. That's the Hyundai leaderboard for tonight.
Beautifully done, Skip.
Thank you. Chuck Long is in to quarterback the Rams. Cleveland Gary gets the ball, but not much else. He got perhaps a yard. Long has been around a while, a 5-year man out of Iowa, big guy, 6'4", 221-pounder.
#1 draft pick for the Detroit Lions several years ago, and had a lot of injuries there in Detroit. And I think it's nice to start, a new start for Chuck Long. He's backing up Jim Everett right there, who was a rival of his. Jim was at Purdue, and Chuck Long was at Iowa. And the timing of the Rams offense, this is something Chuck Long is having some trouble getting comfortable with, throwing the ball early.
He completes that one to the tight end. It's Damone Johnson who makes the reception, but way short of the first down. Jim Everett finishes the night in disappointing fashion. 13 out of 31, 187 yards, a touchdown, an interception. That's just 42%, and he came into the game passing at a 58% clip. There's Everett. Very unhappy with his play and that of his team.
Well, he was wearing a beard last night, said he was not going to shave until they won, so it'll be another week at least.
Yes, it will. 3rd and 5, Long has it batted away.
Look at what, Dan Hampton.
He's still having fun out there.
Yeah, look at him. There's some guys who just reek of intangibles, and I think Dan Hampton is one of those guys. He still has some tangibles. He can run over people, and he's got some wonderful strength. But here it is. It's 38-9. The guy's in his 12th year. He's got nothing to prove, but he's still playing hard.
Keith Inglis will kick it to Johnny Bailey. Many of the crowd headed toward the exit here. They are thrilled. Boy, they almost blocked it. Bailey will field it at the 45 if he gets the block. He's got a seam down to the 42-yard line. Frank Stans again made the stop. 29-yard punt, 12-yard return, and Mike Tomczak is going to come in and quarterback the Bears. So this one is over. Bailey a little shaken up, but he bounces to his feet. He's all right.
There's Mike Tomczak. Mike Ditka was saying yesterday, I have great respect for Mike Tomczak. Here's a guy who was the quarterback most of last year. He's got the look of a high school quarterback on his face. But he is a tough competitor. He's never moped and complained. He's helped Jim Harbaugh prepare every week.
He's 10 out of 24 for the year, 110 yards, a touchdown, and interception.
Remember last week when Harbaugh got hurt, he came in and threw a touchdown, ran for a touchdown against the Packers.
Lars Tate is in the game along with James Rouse. They're the running back. Kozlowski in motion. There's Rouse. Not much. He stood up at the 41 and driven back.
No, it's great. You know, quarterbacks get replaced and running backs get replaced, but the offensive linemen are all still in there.
Alvin Wright made the stop, the 5-year man out of Jacksonville State. Tonight, Jim Harbaugh, 18 out of 25 for a career-high 248 yards. Big win for Phoenix. Steelers came from off the deck. Now Johnny Bailey is in at running back. So the team with Rouse.
What about the Broncos? They go to 2, I think it's 2-4 now.
Another surprise. Kozlowski in motion. The give is to Bailey, and he fights his way down to the 38-yard line. Paul Butcher, the linebacker, makes the stop. We're down to 8:40 and counting in this game. Harbaugh also threw 2 touchdowns. 72% tonight. The Raiders, they're back. Yeah, Marshall is still not lost at home.
Yeah. Jay Schrader he's another fellow who has turned some heads around. People were doubting Jay Schrader, and people in Los Angeles were talking about trading for one of the other quarterbacks around the league, but he's played remarkably well this season.
The lone setback is Rouse on 3rd and 6. Tomzak will put it up. And intended for Rouse, I guess, but incomplete. Either Rouse or Bailey, both were there. It landed in between them. So it's 4th down with 8:04 left. It's 38-9 Bears. Walter Payton will be on our postgame stadium show. And we hope to have Marcus Dupree as well to visit with Fred Hickman and the gang.
Yeah, what a story that Craig Sager did at halftime on Dupree. And it really is. If he can make it back, and there's still a long way for him to go, it'll be a wonderful story. A guy chasing a dream.
There's Marcus Dupree. Buford gets the kick away. He angles it towards Coffin corner. Did they keep it in? They did. At the 1 yard. Vince Mason. 37-yard kick. No return. We'll be back to Soldier Field.
Live from the Bears locker room tonight after the game.
Hustling play by Johnny Bailey, and the ball goes to the Rams on the 1 yard line. They're down 38-9 with 7:53 left, and they've got 99 yards to go.
99 yards to go and 4 games behind the 49ers.
That's exactly right. Gaston Green is in the game. The running back. And he got maybe one. McMichael got him. Here's a good play by Bailey a moment ago on the kick.
A terrific special teams play by Bailey. Now, remember on a punt, as soon as the punting team touches the ball, they down it. That's what Bailey does. The ball is down there, although he flips it back, and it hits the Ram. Now, the Ram thinks it's a live ball, but it's not because it was down at the moment Johnny Bailey touched it.
And he unloaded it before his impetus carried him into the end zone, which would have made it a touchdown.
You make the call, Skip.
And now here's Roach got it. Hey, the third highest mountain in the call.
K-12.
You got it. Second down, 9 yards to go. 7:05 left. Long fired high and outside to Willie Anderson. Well, I know the Ram fans looking in tonight are shaking their heads in disbelief, but so are the players and so are the coaches of this game.
Yeah, you'd like to say there's an easy answer and you can put a Band-Aid on it, but there isn't an easy answer. They haven't been able to rush the passer all season, and they don't have that kind of dominating pass rusher. The trade deadline's coming up, but there's no great pass rushers available to make a trade for.
And they say that the Marcus Allen thing is not at all likely to ever happen. Not with them.
Yeah, they need some help on defense.
3rd and long. Incomplete, almost picked off. Pat Carter, the intended receiver, and now the Rams will have to kick it away. Marcus Paul out of Syracuse on the coverage. Keith English will kick it. You saw John Robinson, the poor guy. This is a tough business.
And look who's still in the game again. Steve McMichael and the Fred. Dan Hampton's the first guy off, congratulating people. These are a bunch of guys having fun, and when you have fun, you're going to win a lot of games.
When it all comes together like this, boy, it is fun. The kick is away, and it's a beaut. Bailey at midfield. 40. And it got buried right there at the 40-yard line. Greg Clark really popped him. 48-yard punt, 10-yard return. Let's look at the NFL standings at the end of the night's work, and that's assuming this game will end like it.
Pretty good assumption.
Yeah, I think we can make that assumption.
Well, you know, what people thought was going to be a very competitive division in the West. I mean, San Francisco is running away with it, and that's remarkable to me that San Francisco can do that, because you know everybody's shooting for him, and you know, Joe Montana has the kind of day today. He has just been just spectacular over the last 2 years.
Bailey and Rouse are the setback. Kozlowski in motion. The give is to Rouse, and he fights to the 35. Let's look at the Central Division.
Okay.
See, there it is.
The magic of television. But Tampa Bay has really been the surprise here in the Central. I really thought Detroit would challenge some, but Green Bay's been somewhat of a disappointment because the quarterback position's unsettled. But clearly, Chicago looks to be the class of the Central.
Second down, 7 yards to go. And I guess Mike Ditka doesn't show it, but he's got to be elated with the way his team has played tonight. Just every facet of the game they've played with.
It'll be a great week off for the Bears, won't it?
The pitch. Fighting forward is Lars Tate. He keeps the clock rolling as he reaches the 33.
You were probably wondering about the NFC East.
Yep. And like magic, there it is. The Giants stay undefeated. Washington played a terrific game today. Philadelphia, the big surprise on the negative side there.
But you know, the Giants and the Bears are kind of similar. They're going to run the ball, play physical. A quarterback's going to come up with big plays when they have to. So a lot of different teams are winning different ways. The Bears, the Giants are really the anomalies, I think, in the NFL this year, because they just done it by controlling the ball, running the football.
Philadelphia and the Vikings play tomorrow night, by the way, on the Monday night game. Bailey wide to the right. Rouse is the single setback. Kozlowski in motion. Draw play. 23-yard line. Pat Terrell, the rookie out of Notre Dame, made the stop. First down, 10-yard pickup. The clock continues to roll.
Well, Mike Ditka is finding tonight that he has some depth. He has some depth at running back. He's got some depth on defense. And you can see it with guys like James Rouse and Johnny Bailey and Mike Tomczak, who we already knew about. So this is a real, a nice win for Ditka in a lot of ways.
This figures to be the worst loss by the Rams since December of '87, when they lost 48-0 at San Francisco. Bailey and Rouse. It's Bailey with the ball. 25, 20. And out of bounds. Lattenberry ran him out. 4:15 remaining in the contest. Don't forget, Thursday night we'll be in Miami, where the Dolphins will host the New England Patriots. 7 o'clock for the stadium show, Eastern time, and we'll have the play-by-play story for you at 8.
You know, the Dolphins, I think it's always fun in the season to watch a team emerge. The Dolphins have been one of those teams. Dan Marino's had to back off, not had to carry the team as much. They've got a defensive lineman by the name of Jeff Cross, who's really been a sack artist this year. So the Dolphins are very much a team emerging.
Tomczak barks the signal. Lars Tate handles the football. Cuts inside. Gets 5. Stays on his feet. Gets another yard. Alvin Wright finally made the stop.
The Bears have given these fans 4 quarters of football. Dirk Pankey on the right, Duval Love, number 67 on the left, offensive lineman for the Rams.
And they're sitting there saying, what in the world is going on? Their defense, but their defense has been tough, struggled all year, but tonight the offense was every bit as...
And that's the reason. But those guys, the defensive guys, Cox and Carrier and Roper, Morrissey, number 51.
Rouse and Tate are still the running back. Kozlowski and Moses. Pitch back. Nothing there for Lars Tate that time.
Skip, Kevin Kiley and I were talking about on the stadium show before the game, and I was saying that this is a different Bear team than last year, different attitude. They got off to a 4-1 start a year ago and collapsed at the end of the year, but it's a new Mike Ditka. You talk to Bear players, and they say, hey, we're not going to let that happen. He started this season, their training camp, by giving everybody a T-shirt that said team. All the coaches, all the players were wearing this T-shirt that said team, and these guys are playing like they care about the guy next to them.
Fourth and 3 here. Bailey. He didn't get that. Bailey stopped at the 16-yard line, so the Rams have held, and they get the ball back with 2.5 minutes left in the game, and it is decided. The Bears have seldom looked better, and the Rams seldom have looked worse.
Well, Keith Van Horn, who's played so well for the Bears tonight, comes off the field holding his right hand and elbow. And you hate to see an offensive lineman who's played that well for you get injured in a meaningless part of the game.
That's the risky part of this business, boy. And sometimes, unconsciously, I think you ease up a little bit because you know you won the game, and when you do that, they say you get hurt more than any other time. Carter in motion. The give to the second man through, running with the football, Gaston Green. And he is out to the 25-yard line, and the 2-minute warning will soon be upon us. He may have just dislocated a finger. I say just. It hurts like crazy, but
it's easy for you to say,
but it is not a serious injury, if that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you can never imagine an offensive lineman like being a dentist because they have their hands get so beaten up over their careers.
And the 2-minute warning is upon us. 38-9. The Bears lead the Rams. And we'll return to Soldier Field for the wrap-up right after this. Thursday night, a special edition of the NFL on TNT. The New England Patriots and Miami Dolphins hook up in an AFC battle live from Miami at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And then 2 weeks from tonight, the Cincinnati Bengals and Atlanta Falcons will meet as the NFL returns to Sunday night only on TNT.
Have you noticed that our stage manager, Michelle Zarzaka, has been smiling all evening as the Bears score touchdown after touchdown?
She's a Bears fan.
She certainly is.
And does a very mediocre job for us up here on that. She's a lovely lady. Second down, 2 yards to go.
Victor Kion said that a few weeks ago.
Oh, don't get me into that. Gaston Green gets across the 30. They're still popping down there. David Tate, the third-year man out of Colorado, made that stop.
Well, when Mike Ditka came into the game, he said that we could run the ball and control the clock. That was certainly their game plan, and they have done it again. 34-50 and counting for the Bears. But they really, I think they've done it with some terrific defense, too. I mean, there weren't too many wide-open Ram receivers tonight, were there?
Didn't all our guys on the stadium show pick the Rams in this game?
Yeah, even our Craig Sager, who's been undefeated until tonight.
Well, then, stay tuned to hear them explain why they were wrong. Coming up right after the game. 1:10 left. A long night for all the Bears, including Vince Newsom, the 8th-year man out of Washington, who had 23 tackles coming into the game and picked up a few more tonight.
And those are Bear shoes, the black shoes with the mud on them, and that's the kind of game they expected. That's the kind of game they played. And I think the Bears are a contender this year. If they keep playing like this, they can contend.
Gaston Green across the 35. He's short of the first down. 40 seconds left in the game.
You know, we saw the Giants early in the year, which were awfully good. We saw the Redskins were an awfully good team. But I'm telling you, the Bears were as good a team on offense, defense, and special teams as we've seen.
Will they run another play? I don't think so. Mike Ditka is on his way up. There's really no point in it, even if the rules say you should. This game has been over for a long time, and John Robinson makes the long walk, and Mike Ditka makes the short one, and the final score in this game is Bears 38, Rams 9. The Bears are 5-1. The Rams are 1-4. So this one is over, and we'll be back right after this word from your sponsor.
NFL on TNT has been brought to you by Hyundai. Test drive the new sportiest coupe from Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai. And by AT&T, the right choice.
Final score, Chicago Bears 38, Los Angeles Rams 9. Thursday night at 8 o'clock, join us.
Postgame room with Jim Rose and Tim Weigel and Mark Janowski at Soldier Field. It's brought to you in part by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealers. We build excitement.
And good evening, everybody, and what a night for the Chicago Bears. Welcome to our post-game report. You know, the big smile on my face is because we all thought the Chicago Bears would win by maybe 2 or 3 points, but they ran roughshod over the Los Angeles Rams at Soldier Field tonight. The final score, 38-9. Jim Harbaugh had a great evening despite playing with a broken rib, certainly making this reporter look like a bozo for saying that he should have sat out this game in favor of Mike Tomczak. So Harbaugh, with plenty of time, wasting hits Neil Anderson for the first touchdown of the game in the back of the end zone there for a 7-0 lead over the Rams. And then when the Rams got the ball, Jim Everett on the third play for them gets intercepted by Darnell Wolford at the 44-yard line, and he returns the football where the Bears had no problem at all scoring their next touchdown. This time, Harbaugh, back to pass, steps up, goes straight up the slot, and scores despite getting nailed by Mike Wiltshire there. The point after was good by Butler, and the Bears led 14-0. Moving on now to the second period. Harbaugh with an easy touchdown pass to Ron Morris as the defender fell down. 9 plays, 62 yards, 5 minutes, 31 seconds on the drive. 21-0 Chicago. Now Everett's back to pass. He had a poor night, as we mentioned. He's pressured by John Roper there. The pass to Damon Johnson, or Damone Johnson, was incomplete. Then Brad Mustard took it straight up the slot. About 7 plays later to score easily. Actually 10 plays, 70 yards. 28-0, the Bears in complete control right here. The Los Angeles did try to come back somewhat. Touchdown pass there. Everett to Buford. McGee makes it 31-6. And then Neil Anderson finishes it off, going to the left side, going in for the score from 50 yards out. And the Chicago Bears once again win 38-9. So the Bears in control now of the Central Division. Now let's check in with Tim Weigel for his thoughts, the first of his, for tonight's big victory by the Bears.
Jim, we're standing with Neil Anderson, once again the star of the show, on a very wet field. Did you have any fears going out there that you're going to have some trouble getting some traction tonight? Because if so, those fears had to go away real quick.
Well, I didn't think so. You know, we came out and warmed up in the field, looked in pretty good shape. You know, when it's wet like that and I have a slight knee injury, you always worry about it. But it was a great team effort today. The defense played extremely well. We put a lot of points on the board. You know, if we continue to play like this, we're going to be tough to beat.
What Coach Ditka just said to you here a second ago, Neil?
We were just talking about some plays, some different plays we're going to use in the following weeks, and just a little bit about play selection. But, you know, when Harbaugh throws the ball there, well, people talk about us not having a passing game. I think that was erased today, so it's going to make it a tough offense.
Jim Harbaugh had a career day. Now, what's new in the injury department? Last week you were knocked cold for a quarter. How the ribs? How's the knee? How's the head? You feeling 100%?
I came out in good shape. Yeah. And then you always feel better when you have a convincing win like that. You seem to feel better.
Well, I should say, I know a lot of people in Chicago and all around the country are surprised at what you did to the Rams today, 38-9. Are you surprised?
Somewhat. We know they have a fine football team regardless of what their record is. We knew they were going to come in looking for a win over us, but we won convincingly. And anytime you can do that, you got to feel good about it.
All right, we'll see you back in the locker room. We'll look at some films and have a good time. This one's going to be fun. All right. Neil Anderson will be back in the locker room live in just a few moments. He's going to shower and lick his wounds a little bit, but the wounds don't hurt too bad when you win 38-9. That's it for now on the field, Jim. We'll be back live in the locker room in a few moments. Tim Weigel, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you in the studio, Jim.
All right, Tim, thanks very much. Anderson, 14 of 63 yards, 1 touchdown rushing, 4 of 66 yards in the passing department for Neil Anderson, receiving, that should be. Tim Harbaugh, 16 of 23, 248 yards. He passed it 2 and ran for 1. All right, now let's check back in at the locker room, and Coach Mike Ditka is talking to the media at this point in time, so let's tune right into that conversation and see what he's got to say.
It's hard all the time. Good things will happen for us, so I'm really proud of the team effort we had in there, and controlling a football team as good as the Rams, and so I'm very happy about what happened. It was a great win for us, and we just got to keep trying to take our steps forward and not go backward. But I don't really have much else to say. I don't know. We try to mix up the plays, and we came out with a sense that we would throw the ball a little bit more in certain situations, and Jim did a good job of finding a guy in the back of the end zone on that first one, because it really wasn't what was supposed to happen. But there were some good things in there and some things that we got to get better on. We know that. But, overall, it's encouraging to win a football game like this. And, I'm happy, but I'm reserved happy. There's a lot more I'm left. I'll answer some questions, and I'll let you have the players. Well, I think it's a step in the direction for him, because, we get a lot of grief, and Jim has been maligned in some areas, and he knows where his shortcomings are, and he works hard to improve them. But there's no shortcoming with his heart. He's got a great competitor's heart, and he's got the heart of a champion, and so does Mike. But, when you have that going for you, you can overcome a lot of things that you do. He's not maybe as good as some guys are doing this and doing that. But, boy, I tell you, when it takes sucking it up and putting it under with a cracked rib to run it in for a touchdown, and he took some great shots out there. I mean, they got after him. But that was encouraging. I was encouraged with the way the line worked, too. I thought our line worked pretty good. We knew a lot of plays were going to be tough, but then, when we hit some pretty good ones.
How about getting Anderson into the passing game?
Well, Neil's always in the passing game. He just wants to be out there playing, and if he's if we can't get him the ball, we can't make yardage run the ball. We're going to get him in the passing game, that's for sure. Same with Brad. We had a couple plays where Brad probably could have got the ball today. We missed him, but yeah, I thought Brad did a great job also. He's a little stiff, and then the young kids came in and played pretty good when they got in there, so it was encouraging. I mean, we gave up. Our defense was very good. I mean, when you look at who you're playing against, they're averaging 388 yards a game. Our defense was very good. The bottom line is, do you win or lose in this league? It's not statistics. A little bit more, Mike, but not. I don't want to get into. It just depends on how I wake up that morning.
How do you feel now, 5-1 at the break with some time off now?
Well, we've never had time off, so I don't know. It's going to be an unusual thing for us. What we're going to do, I'll tell you what the schedule's going to be. So, we'll come in and they'll meet. We watch the film tomorrow. They'll be off Monday and Tuesday. We'll come back in and work Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll take Saturday and Sunday off. We'll come back in and work Monday. Then we'll take Tuesday off and go Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday again. I'm not going to go 3 days in a row off because I don't believe in it. I want them to enjoy themselves, but I don't want them to lose focus of our next opponent, which is Phoenix, which is a good football team, regardless of what their record is or anything else. When you're playing them in their backyard, it's going to be a tough football game. So we've got to get ready for it. Plus, we've got to do some running because it's going to be hotter than heck out there.
How was your injury status?
Not good. Jim Thornton's got a bad. He got a finger in the eye, and we don't know if he tore a muscle in there or not. He can't. His eye's completely closed, and he probably might have scratched the retina at the least, and then it might have done something to the muscle in the eye. Cap hurt his knee, but he hung in there and played. Cap's a tough son of a gun. I tell you, got to give him all the credit in the world. He played very well out there. Other than that, I don't think we really had. I think Jerry got a hip pointer right at the end of the game, Fontenot, but I don't know that we had anybody else that got hurt. Nobody on defense that I could see. So we're probably going to be out of it pretty good, and we'll probably be pretty darn healthy by the time we play Phoenix.
Head coach Mike Ditka talking to the media directly after the Bears' 38-9 victory over the Los Angeles Rams. I have one suggestion for the Bears and how they can help everybody heal up, especially with the game being in Phoenix in 2 weeks. Why doesn't Mike Ditka just take everyone, including the reporters, down on a plane to Phoenix about a week and a half early, and they can all just bask in the sunlight and get nice and healthy to take on the Cardinals, who won today over the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see highlights of that later on in a few moments. We've got Tim Weigel live at the locker room. We've got Mark Janowski live in the Los Angeles Rams locker room. But first, let's talk about the standings. Right now, the Bears are 5-1 on the season in the NFC Central Division. Tampa Bay and Green Bay. Tampa Bay is 4-2. Green Bay and Detroit 2-4. And, you know, at this point of the season, I thought that the standings would look just a little bit different from this, especially with Minnesota now being 1-4. They will play Monday night against the Eagles at the Vet in Philadelphia. In a few moments, we'll come back with more on our post-game report, including Tim and Mark live from the locker room. Stay with us. Welcome back to Channel 7's post-game report from the locker room. The Bears a convincing 29-point victory over the Los Angeles Rams today, and one of the guys who helped in that victory on the defense, William Perry. He's live with our Tim Weigel at the Bears locker room. Tim?
You're right about that. William Perry had a great deal to do with this victory. The in their face held them to 9 points. And Jim, William just raised an interesting point. Now, you got a week off now. It's almost like you don't want that week off because you really got it going.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. We don't want that week off. It's, it might set us back. We got the offense rolling and the defense playing. Is rolling too. And for us wise that a week off, it might hinder us. For us wise injuries, for us wise after this game, it might help us. But I believe that week off, like I said, it might hurt us.
Well, you're going to take the week off. You got to take it no matter what. The league says so. Then you go down to Phoenix. You play hot weather there. Then you go down to Tampa. So this really is the critical part of the season right now.
Oh yes, definitely. All of them is in one bunch. It seems like a whole bunch of coconuts coming at one time, and that's where you got to look at it. You got to look at it there. You got to take one at a time, and try to do your best against them.
William, I felt the key play of the game, certainly from the defensive standpoint, was the Bears were up 14-0, and the Rams, I guess, had a 3rd and 1, and you stuffed Cleveland Gary. And that was really indicative of the way you guys controlled the line of scrimmage. And the secondary helped out, too. Donnell Wolford with the interception. The whole defense really did seem to mesh against a really quality offensive football team today.
Yeah, Coach Tobin called the right calls, and everybody, all the players out there, got together, and we made things happen. But like on that stuff play, he called Stack 23, and that was, and I'm reading inside, and it just happened. He ran to my hole, and now just made something happen.
William, it seems to me, as we're watching Donnell Wolford weave through the Ram offense on that interception return, seems to me you're playing as well as you've played in quite a while. You're healthy, you're happy, and you really are making some things happen.
Well, you want to come in, you want to come in a year with a positive attitude and play well. And you guys, you all make it fun, fun too. For us wise, when days are low, I can talk to y'all sometime and get myself going.
Well, there's no question about your motivation right now, and you were there, of course, in that Super Bowl year. That was your rookie season. Do you sense that same kind of dominance by the Bear defense? The statistics right now compare very favorably. You are playing defense as completely as you were back then in the Super Bowl year.
Well, you can't, you can't look backward, for us wide Super Bowl and everything. We got a young team right now, so we got to look ahead and everything, and just play Bear football week in and week out. We got to just make things happen.
Well, when I saw this game start to unfold, it was wet, it was real messy out there. It struck me as Bear football.
Oh, I love it. I love it when it's wet or snow or anything like that. I love it.
This is from a young man from South Carolina. You've learned to love our Chicago weather, huh?
Oh yes, I love it now. It's fun. It's fun to play in. It's cool, and it's rain and it's wet. Oh, the quarterback can't do nothing but just hand the ball off right or left, and that's all you wait for.
All right. Well, enjoy this week off and keep up the intensity, and we'll see you down in Phoenix in 2 weeks. William Perry, thank you so much, and congratulations on a terrific football game by William and the entire Bear defense. Jim Harbaugh is going to be meeting the media very shortly, and we'll have some of that. This is quite a story there. As you know, here's a guy with a cracked rib who came out and had the best game of his entire career. So we've got a lot of fun yet to come from this Bear locker room, and we'll be back here in just a few minutes, all right?
Timmy, real quickly, speaking of William Perry, I think now people are getting the idea he's really serious about playing football, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. I started to touch on it a little bit there. William Perry is playing the best football of his entire life right now. He really is motivated, and he is dominating, Jim, as we projected that he might when he was made a first-round draft choice by the Bears. And that triumvirate of Perry, McMichael, and Hampton in the middle, really effective. And then you have Denton, Trace Armstrong on the outside. That's really the key to the Bears' success right now. That defensive line is totally dominating up front. Lots more coming up from the locker room. In the meantime, let's toss it back to you in the studio.
All right, Tim, thanks very much. By the way, one correction. Jim Harbaugh was 18 of 25, not 16 of 23 for 248 yards. We'll be back with more from the locker room and the post-game report in a moment. Bears were awesome today in their victory over the Los Angeles Rams. Jim Harbaugh in that first half alone was 14 of 20, and the Bears connected 7 of 7 in third down conversions by halftime alone. So after the first 30 minutes, it was just no contest. Now let's check out the games from around the National Football League. Let's start off down in Tampa Stadium and go down to Tampa for the highlights of the Green Bay game against the Tampa Buccaneers. There was no magic in the Pack attack today. Don Majkowski was intercepted 5 times by the Bucs as the Packers turned into their own worst enemies. The Packers' misfortune was Vinny Testaverde's game as the Buccaneer quarterback threw for a season-high 292 yards. He completed 17 of 29 passes with no interceptions. Rare for Vinny. He's the NFL's top-rated passer through the first 6 games of the season. He threw 1 TD pass against the Packers. This 15-yarder to Ron Hall contributed to the Bucs' 26-14 victory over the Pack today. Testaverde, a happy man tonight.
It's a great feeling. You know, we said coming in that this is an important game for us, probably the biggest game we might play all year. You know, certainly the only game we had anything to say about this week. And we just went out and played well, and, you know, now we're looking at Dallas next week.
I accept a great deal of responsibility of most of them. Who took away from the interceptions, and a lot of times the balls are just getting away from me today, you know, in critical times. And you know, this is one of the games where I'm going to have to really stay strong. And you know, it's one of them games where you know I get all the glory when we win. This is one of the games I'm willing to suck it up. I didn't play well.
Elsewhere around the NFL, Joe Montana threw 6 touchdown passes today as the 49ers rolled over the Atlanta Falcons. Mike Sherrod caught 1 of Montana's TD passes, and Jerry Rice tied an NFL record by catching the other 5 scoring strikes. 5, folks, as San Francisco beat the Falcons by 10. The New York Jets were favored to beat the Chargers today with Billy Joe Tolliver hits Anthony Miller for a touchdown here, and the Chargers blow out the Jets 39-3. Now the word in Kansas City today was Barry Word, who racked up 200 yards on the ground to lead the Chiefs to a 43-24 drubbing of the Detroit Lions. The Lions actually led this game 14-3 in the early going. Meanwhile, the run and shoot was firing on all cylinders in Houston today. Warren Moon threw 5 touchdown passes. This one to Leonard Harris for 42 yards. Gave the Oilers a 21-point lead. They cruised to a 48-17 victory over Cincinnati. Now, Steve Walsh, ex of Dallas, made his debut at the Saints today through 3 touchdown passes. This one covered 42 yards to Floyd Turner. The Saints go on to defeat the lowly Cleveland Browns 25-20. Phil Simms and the New York Giants continue to roll. Simms hit Stephen Baker for 80 yards here to set up a touchdown as the Giants go 6-0. They defeated the Redskins 24-20. It's the first time since 1940 that the Giants have started out 5-0. And finally, Jay Schrader led the Los Angeles Raiders to victory this afternoon. Hit Ethan Horton a 3-yard touchdown strike. The Raiders defeat the Seattle Seahawks 24-17 at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, a place that they call the Black Hole. I guess it's because the Raiders wear black.